Jet World has been on fire since Aaron Rodgers finally shed some light on his meeting with the Jets, where he was told that the team was moving on from him. When the announcement first happened on February 13th, I posted a video questioning why they made that decision. It didn't make much sense to me, because Aaron Rodgers was still the Jets' best option at quarterback for at least next season. He could have provided some continuity and competitiveness for the new head coach in year one. Because signing Justin Fields, who was the best available alternative, was not a guaranteed thing. The only plausible reasons I could think of for their decision to move on from Rodgers was, number one, Aaron Glenn did not want Rodgers around to potentially undercut him while he's trying to mold the team in his vision. Or number two, that bringing back Rodgers would have likely meant also bringing back Davante Adams, which could have affected their ability to re-sign Garrett Wilson to an extension. Because it was painfully obvious that Garrett Wilson was furious about Davante getting force-fed targets, especially when Garrett was wide open. There were even reports that Garrett was going to ask for a trade. Here's a clip from that video on the day Aaron Rodgers' release was announced back on February 13th. That being said, and moving forward, I have to trust that Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn have a plan, and I'd love to hear it because at this moment I'm trying to figure out what their reasoning could be to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Is it possible that Aaron Glenn wants to put his stamp on the team and felt that Rodgers was too strong of a personality and his locker room influence could undercut that? Maybe Garrett Wilson wanted him gone for force-feeding Davante Adams too much. Who knows? I doubt we'll get the real answer until Rodgers decides to tell us at some point. Well, now, according to Aaron Rodgers in that interview with McAfee, he is confirming that it was due to Aaron Glenn being worried that Rodgers would potentially undercut him. So at this moment, and without hearing what happened in that meeting from Aaron Glenn's perspective, there's still a lot of questions because things are not completely adding up. But I think I might have figured it out. According to Aaron Rodgers' chronological breakdown of the meeting, Rodgers says that after he sits down with Glenn, Glenn abruptly gets up and leaves to go get Darren Muji. When they return, Glenn asks Rodgers if he wants to play football. Rodgers responds with, "I'm interested." Then 20 seconds later, as Rodgers is talking with Muji, Glenn blurts out that they're going in another direction. And they just want to know how Rodgers wants the announcement rolled out. Now, I know we're not trying to crack the case of who really killed JFK or the magic bullet theory, but with the limited information that we do have, what this tells me is that Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn had already made the decision to move on from Aaron Rodgers before the meeting ever took place. The Jets had plans A, B, and C. Plan A, with Rodgers' age and his history of going back and forth on deciding whether to retire or not, the Jets were probably hoping that Rodgers would come into the meeting and tell them that he's retiring. This was their desired preference, because then they never would have had to reveal their true intentions of releasing him anyway. And more importantly, they would have avoided facing any potential backlash for the decision. Plan B, if he doesn't commit to retiring, but even says as much that he is leaning towards retiring, then in that case, the Jets would have had cover in saying that with a brand new staff, they didn't have the time to wait for Rodgers to make a decision while other free agent quarterbacks were getting signed elsewhere. But once Rodgers said that he was interested in returning, that hope for Plan A died, and Plan B went right out the window. And now they were only left with Plan C. And that's where Aaron Glenn just ripped a Band-Aid right off right then and there and told him they were moving on from him, which must have caught Aaron Rodgers off guard, because in one moment, Glenn is asking Rodgers if he wants to play, which would indicate to Rodgers that they wanted him back. 20 seconds later, he's being told that he's getting released. Because why else would Aaron Glenn even ask if he wanted to play in the first place if they already knew that they didn't want him back? This meeting kind of has the feel of the Red Wedding in the Game of Thrones. So at this moment, this seems to be the most likely scenario in my opinion. Overall, it could have been handled better. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment and make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons on your way out. Peace.
I think the girls with their nails done now.